Welcome to the Tommy Watson Show, brought to you by Express Oil Change and Tire Engineers. I'm your host, Doug Dershimer, and we're coming to you on a special Monday afternoon edition of the Tommy Watson Show from the Sports Lab at Lambert High School. And Coach Tommy Watson joins us as always. Coach, congratulations on a lot. We're going to talk about the game Friday night. Not sure how we wanted to come out, but we've got some good things to talk about after that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Looking forward to the show with you.
Appreciate it. Again, we're coming to you on Monday as a special edition. Kind of wanted to wait some of the dust to clear over the weekend to find out exactly where the Longhorns stood, and we have found out. And folks, we are headed to the playoffs, the state playoffs, for the first time since 2016. Coach, congratulations on that. That is a truly remarkable accomplishment.
Thank you. You know, it is to think where the program was at before I got here, and when I got here to where it's at today, it's just pretty remarkable. You know, I can't take any of the credit. Again, I've said it all year on this show that I just had a vision and a plan, and it took, you know, everybody all involved to buy into it to get to where we're at today. And, man, I'm super proud of where our football program is, where our football team, and the direction the football team is headed for this year. So just super excited, man. Well,
Coach, I think it's a dedication to your relentless pursuit of championship football. You know, you guys have come in here and certainly turned things around. We've talked in the past where we've come and what you guys have tried to build and the one Lambert we're trying to do. And, Coach, we can go back and look at the last 4 years of football here, 5 years of football, excuse me. We're 3-7 in 17. We were 3-7 in 18. We were 0-10 in 19. Last year you guys came in, we were 5-5. This year we're 7-3, 3-3 in region, and making our first playoff appearance, as we mentioned, for the first time since 2016.
Yeah, quite an accomplishment. You know, when I think back to, you know, the January 2020 when I took this job before the quarantine hit. You know, I was at a prestigious program, and I had several people down there say, man, what are you doing? Why are you taking that job? Why are you going to Lambert? They're 0-10. They hadn't did X, Y, and Z, and forever you can't win there. And my motto, my mantra was, I'll show you. And so we just come up and, you know, assembled a good coaching staff, and we worked hard, and it's good to see hard work pay off, no doubt.
It is, Coach. You know, I look back to a lot of the hires you've made in the last 2 years, and I know the support you've gotten from Dr. Davidson and Coach Ferreira with that, and they've pretty much giving you all the tools that you guys have needed with the strength coach, with Coach Mateer coming in here as well, and really assembled a great staff. You've had some phenomenal buy-in from the senior class. And, Coach, just talk about that for a moment.
Yeah, you know, the senior class won more games this year than they won in their sophomore and junior year combined, so that's a big accomplishment for those guys, and they really have led the way. Man, it was a great group of guys. Not many of them, but a great group. But, yeah, obviously – Dr. D and Coach Ferreira, man, they made my job so much easier. You know, a lot of places you go, you had to, you know, maybe fight your admin to get some of the things you want, or you know what I mean. But they've been nothing but gracious to me, and I'm thankful for that, because the last thing I want to do is try to coach a football team and argue and fuss and have to, you know, go around here and there to get what we want. But our admin, they're first class, man. They want to win. I said that last week on the show. They want to win at everything.
Absolutely.
No matter if it's test scores, GPAs, they want to be first in everything, and that's one of the biggest reasons I took this job, is because of those people in those positions.
Well, Coach, it's really been a remarkable effort. It really has. And Friday night, Coach, didn't go the way we had certainly planned. Came up on the short end of the stick against West. We lost to West 27-3. Difficult night, a lot of rain, a lot of cold weather. Some difficult plays. Again, I'm able to talk about those. You're not, but you know, not what we wanted to certainly have happen heading into the playoffs. But we're in, and that's all that matters. Yeah, that was
West was that's the worst game we played in a while, to be honest with you. But West has a fantastic football team now.
They're tough.
You look at that record and you think, oh man, but you know they played some really good football teams before region play started, and then they lost their. You know, one of their best players, the running back they had, went down, and they kind of did some identity searching. But, man, they've gotten better the last couple of weeks, and I really think them at Denmark is going to be a slobber knocker this week. But, man, this, you know, I told our kids this morning, man, we can't let last Friday night drag down what we've accomplished this year. And in high school football, college football, NFL, I felt like that we were – I don't like having an off week in week 10.
Yeah.
We had an off week after game 4 and, after game 5. And so that meant we were fixing to play 5 very important football games back to back to back to back to back. And there was no break in between. And each one of them, you're in the electric chair now. You got to show up and play or you're going to get you behind beaten. And that's hard. It's hard for a football team to show up and play their best week in and week out. So, I wish we would have had an off week in the middle of there, to kind of get some injuries healed up and get our feet back up on them. But it is what it is. The kids looked, they went and played each one of those opponents and played hard. And you go back to the West Forsyth game last Friday, man, I'm telling you, 7 plays. If they go our way versus the other way, man, and who knows what happens. But take nothing away from West Forsyth. Now, they whooped our behind in all 3 phases of the game.
They played extremely well. Coach, I think at the beginning of the year, I think people in the region or actually around the state would have thought, West would have a chance to contend, go deep in the playoffs like they did this year. And they started out with some tough teams you played. You talked about they played, and they lost their running back, and then they kind of had to find their identity for a couple of weeks, and they're playing pretty good football right now.
Yeah, I suspect that they'll play a few games in the playoffs, man. They're big, they're fast, they're physical. They got a good football team, man. The guy over there does a good job for sure.
Coach, I think they go to Denmark, or Denmark come to them on Friday.
I think the game's at Denmark, but do not hold me to that. It's
going to be interesting. There's just three teams at the top that have an opportunity to take the region title, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens on Friday night between them and the South. So that'll all play itself out. But Coach, in 2 weeks, it looks like we have a week to prepare, an extra week to prepare, even though we don't like to not have that game, the final game of the season, but gives us an extra week to prepare. It looks like we could be on the road to Collins Hill.
Yeah, it's anytime you get your behind whooped, the way you make that feeling go away is you go right back out and play a game the following week. So we got to wait 2 weeks to try to get that feeling to go away. And, we need some time off. We need some injuries to get healed up. We need to get some legs back up on us, and we need to get some fundamentals worked on that has been showing up, on film here and there. So we're really looking forward to having this off week, although it's going to be hard not being able to get this taste out of my mouth to Collins, to the first round of playoffs.
It is, Coach, and what a great opportunity actually to play a team like Collins Hill. I think they're ranked number 1 in the state of Georgia. I believe they're in the top 5 in the country, if I'm not mistaken. They feature the number 1 player in the country who actually is hurt right now, but they still have a phenomenal football team, and it's going to be a heck of a challenge. But what an opportunity to go over there to Collins Hill and play that team. Yeah,
they're definitely. They're the number 1 ranked team in the state of Georgia. I think I've seen they're 7th in the country.
Are they 7? Okay.
7, I think it is. Man, they just got players everywhere you look. I know Travis Hunter, the wideout, is out, and if they can play far enough in the playoffs, he'll be back. I've heard, but man, it's a challenge. But it's like I told the kids this morning. You got to play them sometime and know that you're going to win it anyway. So I really look for us to go over there and play them guys really well. It is not going to surprise me at all for us to go over there and take care of business.
Coach, we're all looking forward to that. Again, it's going to be a tall order, but what more would you want, honestly? An opportunity for these young men to play in their first state playoff game since they've been in high school and to go up against a team like that. Going to be a challenge, but it'll be something to remember. And, Coach, we get that W, it'll be a heck of a night.
Yeah, there ain't no doubt about that. So we're looking forward to it. It'll be a challenge, but I guarantee you we'll be there on time.
Coach, what's the next 2 weeks look like here as we prepare for Collins Hill? Again, not playing in that last game of the season. How will practice go? Will it be different? Will you prepare differently? Talk a little bit about what you see on that.
Well, we'll take this week here and, kind of like we did after the last off week we had, which was after week 5. We'll go in this week and we won't beat on them much this week. We won't do a lot of hitting this week. It'll be more fundamental based. We want to get everybody back excited, back rejuvenated to finish up the postseason run. And so that's our goal. I have decided to give the players off Monday and Friday. We will practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it will be 100% concentrating on the Longhorns and things that we got to get cleaned up in all phases of the game.
Coach, you talk about your experience when you're down there in Valdosta at Lowndes High School and Valdosta High School. They seem to be they make the playoffs pretty much every year. So it's a heck of a brand of football down there. You're used to that. You have experience with that. Again, none of our guys do. How do you translate what you know, what your experience is, to a group of young men who haven't experienced that yet?
Yeah, that's going to be a challenge for sure. Is the one thing about the playoffs is right now we're 0-0,
Mm-hmm.
and this coming Friday night, the entire 64 field of teams in the playoffs is going to be 0-0. But it's just Coach McPherson always believed in physicality, and didn't much change for us at Lowndes. We might have shortened practice up a little bit, but at the end of the day, man, we was going to line up and be who we were. And that's the same thing I plan on doing for us when we get into actual game mode week in 2 weeks. Is we can't change who we are. We can't change what I believe in and what I've taught these players, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to go out and practice like I like to practice and like our kids like to practice, and we're going to get after it each and every day.
Coach, then when you talk to your players about the playoffs, is there any type of different message you have for them? Again, we haven't been there before, but I imagine that's a tough thing as a coach, coming into a program who hadn't seen the playoffs in a while, and of course none of these athletes have, but it's got to be a little bit of a task.
Yeah, it is. The one thing that I'm proud of this morning at 7:30 when I met the football team for the first time since Friday night is, man, they were beat up, they were hurt. They were still. It had been 48 hours since they played West, and they don't like losing anymore. It hurts them to lose. And I'm not sure it's always been that way at Lambert football, that losing hurt the players. I'm sure it hurt the adults. But this morning at 7:30 in our locker room, there were still some hurt players. It's going to take them a couple of days to get off of it. But that's just what I told them. Hey, man, we're 0-0 right now. Whoever we're playing is going to be 0-0 from, this day moving forward. And we got to pick ourselves up and go. That other team ain't going to feel sorry for us.
Not one bit. And Coach, we're all 0-0. You're exactly right. But they're not going to feel one bit sorry for us. They're going to look to drill us as much as they can, just like we would like to try to drill them. And, again, Collins Hill's tough. Yeah,
they are. But, I think I feel like we'll be able to do some things against them to keep it close. And, that it's going to be a very good game. I'm telling you that. I believe that in the bottom of my heart. Our kids are hungry. They've done something. The senior class has done something that they never have done, along with the juniors and, of course, the sophomores. This is their first time being on a varsity team, so everybody's in uncharted territories, and they're excited about it, man. I assure you that when we hit that field on whatever that date is at 7:30, they will be ready to play.
Coach, look forward to that 2 weeks from, or actually a week from this Friday night at Collins Hill High School, where the Longhorns will take on the Collins Hill Eagles. Coach, you talked about earlier when you took this job in December of 2020, I believe it was, how you truly wanted to build a foundation of Lambert football, build the program, create the culture we wanted, build the one Lambert, as you continue to refer to. Coach, I know you have as your foundation, you have your 4 pillars of foundation. Would you mind taking a couple minutes talking to our listeners about that?
Yeah, the 4 things we're about to talk about are very, very important to me as a football coach, and we're as a player, and or as a dad and a husband to my wife. So they're very important, and I think our kids have bought into them and understand them. And the first one is character. That's first and foremost what we want to be about. And you have characters. And then you have then you have character. And character is what we teach our players, man, it's what do you do? What do you do when nobody's looking? And in today's time, man, that's hard. It's hard to have great character, because everywhere you look, you see stuff going on you probably shouldn't see. And so we just, we educate them, especially we take a lot of time in January, February, March, April, May, on doing what we call character education.
Character talks too,
character
right?
talks, and we do during the season. We have a chaplain come in and do character talks during pregame meals. But we spend a lot of time trying to develop great character, because that's important to me on Friday nights when I can't be out there right beside them, working on them, telling them what to do, how to do it, and coaching them up. But it's also important that we instill that in them 20 years from now. They can think back to the some of the lessons maybe they learned from us. So character's high up on the list. The second one is courage. It takes great courage to do things that others won't. You know, it takes a lot of courage in the game of football to line up 3 yards apart and go hit. That takes courage.
It does.
But it also takes courage to do the right thing. You know, if you're out with your buddies and y'all at a party or whatnot and there's things going on, it takes a lot of courage to say, hey, I'm not messing with that stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, it takes courage when you go to the classroom and, you know, everybody's in there's got a way to cheat on a test without getting caught. Mm-hmm. But it takes courage not to do that. So courage is high up on the list as well.
You know, Coach, you talk about those two first pillars, your character and courage. And in today's culture, it's tough to stand out. But that's what you're calling your young men to do.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. And I think it's important that we work on those things because at the end of the day, football is going to come and go.
But also is going to end one day for everybody.
For everybody.
You know, and how you're able to live your life as a productive citizen, as a father, as a husband you talked about, is truly what's most important.
Yeah, and you know, and that's important to me that we help the parents foster those traits and not just be up here coaching football and caring about wins and losses. That's very, very important to me. The next one is work ethic, and that's one that one's just as important as the other two, man. Because I want to be known as the hardest workers. You know, I do not ask my coaches or my players to do something that I'm not willing to do, and I just have. Where I come from, you had to work to get what you had, and I just want to be known as the hardest working guy, and I want my players to be known as the hardest working players on the planet, in the store. Work ethic. You're going to need work ethic all your life. You're going to have great work ethic to be a daddy, great work ethic to be a husband, great work ethic to have a successful job in the house.
For your family, yeah.
Yeah, so that's another one's very important. And then the last one is unity. And that one is very, very important. I mean, when you think about the Friday nights when you see the Lambert take the field, you don't see nobody dressed different. You know, a lot of these, you look on college football and NFL football and you watch other high schools. This guy may have green gloves on, this one red, this one.
Coach, it drives me crazy.
Unity. You know, where one goes, we all go. You know, we look the same, we act the same, we talk the same. You know, so that's important, man. That it takes unity. It's one Lambert.
Correct.
It takes unity to get to where we are right now as a program. Now, is this where we want to be always? Absolutely not. The goal is not to be 7-3 to finish as a 4 seed, but we keep investing in those 4 pillars. We keep installing them when we get them as 9th graders. You got to keep in mind now, this senior class, I only had them really a year and a half. A lot of people say 2 years, but I really didn't get my hands on them until June of 2020.
With some serious standards they had to follow too.
And then, you know, the sophomores, I've had 2, the freshmen. So, I mean, it's snowballing, and they're buying into those pillars. But those pillars, I think, will be in full effect when this 24 class gets to be seniors, because that is the first group that I had as freshmen, and the only way they know is my way. So, but I'm proud of them. I think those pillars are, you know, have been great for our program, and everywhere I've been, I've used them, and we're just gonna keep using them.
Coach, I remember the first night you were officially introduced as the Lambert football coach. We had a meeting here in the evening, and you mentioned these 4 pillars. And when you started talking, I didn't really quite understand you as much as I do now because the accent's gotten. But you know, I remember your presentation that night, and sitting there thinking to myself, "Gosh, have we just hired the right guy?" You know, and I've had the opportunity to watch you and your coaching staff and your players live these 4 pillars out, and it's what I continue to call it: your relentless pursuit for championship football. So. You guys have really done a great job with these, and these young men are going to be great young men when they leave this place and move on. And they'll always remember their football days, but what they carry with them as men will be most important.
That's exactly right. You know, times like we are feeling right now, like I feel bad, I'm upset, I'm mad, and frustrated that we didn't play well. Had to go back to them, man. That's what keeps me going.
Those
four things right there. When things don't go your way, fall back to your foundation. Circle back, and let's go back to work.
Amen, Coach. Coach Watson, we appreciate you joining us on this Monday edition of the Tommy Watson Show. Fantastic accomplishment. We're headed to the state playoffs in 2 weeks, going to Collins Hills, we keep mentioning. And any final words for our listeners?
Wake up, go to sleep.
Hook 'em, baby.
Hook 'em.
So for Coach Watson, this is Doug Dershimer. Thanks for listening for the Tommy Watson Show. We will see you in a couple weeks.